Welcome into this Monday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford Studio, starting another work week here with you. Good bit of baseball coming up as Ole Miss takes 2 out of 3 from the Vanderbilt Commodores over the weekend, winning Friday and Sunday, really solidifying its hosting position going into the season finale series against the Georgia Bulldogs in Athens this weekend. Their home finale for the year is against the UT Martin. Skyhawks is the mascot for UT Martin. No. That comes up Tuesday at Swayze Field. So we'll talk a bit of baseball today and then whatever else strikes our fancies. We start another week with you. A week on the show brought to you by the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. Download the Speed Pass Plus app. Take advantage of that. Earn points to save money with all Blue Sky locations in Mississippi here locally. The Oxford Exxon has the lunch specials that are $5.69, 2 sides bread, 32-ounce drink. The hot case, it has chicken, barbecue, pork, and much more, including side items and dessert for you here locally on Highway 6 West. Again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900 is that number. Call it. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's right to the bottom line. There's no hassle, no haggle. You get your quote, and the rest is completely up to you. You can shop it around, or you can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that's hop into a Clark Ford today. You'll love the service. You'll love the product. Corey and the people at Clark Ford, they really want to be your car guy. They want to be your truck guy. It is a weird vehicle market right now because supply is just now trying to catch up with demand. Corey can help you through that. 662-257-1900. Guest, join us on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. Don't forget Rafters on the Water is open on Wednesdays starting at 5 o'clock. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, it's open at 11 a.m. Margaritas, great food, the whole cold beer, the whole deal as we get into summer. Rafters on the Water was a hot spot last summer. It's going to be a hot spot again this summer, so you need to go check that out. Rafters on the Water in Sardis.
So plenty of baseball coming up today. Ole Miss last week losing a series in College Station. This week beating Vanderbilt 2 out of 3. It's the weirdest resume, one of the weirdest seasons that I have covered. Ole Miss dealing with plenty of losses from a injury standpoint. Tilmoko, obviously Max Chofie. They've had other guys out throughout the season. Then they had Gunnar Hoagland to the list. And
Elko did not play this weekend. Is that correct?
I don't think he ever got any. For some reason, he may have pinch hit on Saturday late. I kind of zoned out a little bit, but I know he did not play Friday or Sunday that I'm aware of. Because there was one time on Friday around the 7th where I think Harris came up, and I thought, this might be the spot to put him in. They didn't do that. They went ahead and whatever they were doing. But no, I don't remember. At least in the bat and the 2 wins. And Saturday, I sort of once it got to like 5-0 and Leiter looked like what Leiter looked like, it went, okay, move on to Sunday. Yeah. This kind of is what it is, and I zoned out a little bit.
My phone blew up Saturday with Leiter text. I think they were surprised that I wasn't watching it, but I gathered from the score and what I was hearing that he was pretty dominant. Early
on, he was a little erratic, but that's a very relative to him erratic. Around the 3rd or 4th, velocity ticked up. He really got in a groove. Now, they pulled him after the 6th. They were up big, and he's obviously missed his start last week. Fans, hopefully, that were there saw one of the best examples in college baseball you'll see of tunneling. Mike talked about it a lot after the game. Ole Miss had such a hard time picking up his curveball because it comes out of his hand the exact same as a fastball. It looks exactly the same. They're geared up for 95, 96, and it's a hammer that's breaking 12-6 off the table, and
it's not hittable.
There's not much you can do about it.
No, you get out. That's why Major League hitters, who are the best hitters in the world, get out all the time against Major League pitchers.
Yeah, so the crowd's going, "Hey, it's a curveball, hit it." It's like that's a lot more complicated than that. I mean, his tunneling is so impressive, and the way he's able to hide the pitch that he's throwing that it can. I mean, over and over again, it was just couldn't hit the curveball. I mean,
this is going to sound like an arrogant thing.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell at a college baseball game, if you're in the crowd, who watches Major League Baseball and who doesn't. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Because Major League Baseball is all about deception because there aren't too many hitters that you can just go, hey, here it comes, cheese.
Mm-hmm.
No, they're going to hit it.
Yeah. We're going to throw 94 down the middle and just take our chances.
They're going to hit it 430 feet
and
laugh at you. So you've got to mix it up, and you have to deceive, and you have to pitch backwards, and you have to do all those things, and that's becoming more and more at the college game with the guys who can do it, and he can. I mean, he's going to be in the bigs quick.
Yes, but you know what Ole Miss did is exactly what the recipe was going into it. Because you look at it and going into the series, said, "Hey, how does Ole Miss win?" Well, okay, Nikhazy outduels Rocker on Friday, that's doable, and then you win a slugfest on Sunday. Yeah. Once Leiter was what he was, and Derek didn't have kind of the game of the season to try to match.
Sure.
That game was most likely over. There's just very little way to come back and do that because also Mike does have to think to Sunday and go, hey, I can't waste pitching on a 5-0 game. Like the odds of us getting back in this game is not very high, so you have to move on.
When Leiter's on, they're the best team in the country.
Yeah. And
in that moment.
Yeah, sure. But it was a perfect weekend for Ole Miss from what was possible to what they did. I mean, Nikhazy on Friday night was just tremendous. He was. He was fantastic on Friday night. He pitched around some traffic a couple times. He just competes.
That was the one game I saw some of. I saw a good bit of Friday night, and I saw a little bit of Sunday before we left for the dance thing.
Yeah, he was phenomenal on Friday night. And Ole Miss, you know, it was the way they've beaten aces over the years. I mean, you look at it, it's how they got to Casey Mize early a few years ago. It's how they got to Funkhauser from Louisville a couple years ago. These top 5 pick guys, early in the game, you hit a ball out of the ballpark. You catch the mistake, and you get up early, and you hope that this happens and whatever. And that's what they did. They hit 2 balls out of the ballpark. They got the 3-run lead, and Casey just locked it down.
Yeah.
He was great.
I told you this in a text on Friday night. So I was watching kind of 3 games. I was flipping around. I was interested in the Tennessee-Arkansas series, which turned out to be a really good series to be interested in because it was great. And I was watching the Cubs and the Tigers, and I was watching Ole Miss. I felt like Rocker only made 2 or 3 mistakes. I thought he was really good.
He was fine.
And they hit him. And then Nikhazy, to me, on Friday night, I don't have a ballot. If I had one for pitcher of the year, he'd be second on my ballot.
Behind Kevin Kopps.
Who twice over the weekend just came in and shut the door on Tennessee. Tennessee's every bit as good as Arkansas, except they don't have Kopps.
Well, and I think there's several teams in the league are probably better than Arkansas everywhere else, but they don't have Kopps.
Yes.
Because he's the biddle button for Arkansas this year, where once or twice a weekend, that's just it. Whenever he comes in.
And he's rubber arm, 3 1/3, 4 1/3, whatever they need of him, he just comes in and gives it for them. And he closes the door. I mean, Tennessee got a run off of him yesterday, and it was like breaking news. So he would win it. But back to Nikhazy for a minute. In a night like that, he had to win. And he does. And he just gives you this energy that nobody else on that team can give you. And you can tell that it's contagious. And
he does that Friday night thing you hope for out of your ace where, he picks up everybody around him and they said, hey, our boys got the ball and we ain't losing tonight.
The reason I thought about it was because I had watched him go, I guess he went 8 against Vandy on Friday, Nikhazy.
7.
7.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of – no idea, sorry. I watched him go 7. And then I flipped over to Arkansas, and when Kopps comes in for them, it's the same thing. There's a tangible body language change. Like, okay, we're about to win this now. Mm-hmm. No matter what the deal is, when he comes in, if it's tied or if they're ahead, they're like, okay, we're going to win again now. And you can see that with their teams. I didn't see Leiter. I suspect Vanderbilt's body language when they can tell, oh, he's on. It's like you get a little chip. We're winning.
Yeah, Doug Nikhazy in league play, and now remember, he didn't play against Alabama. He missed the opener. Was it Alabama or Auburn? Whoever they played first. I forget now.
They played.
Was it Auburn?
Auburn first.
Yeah, Auburn first. So he misses the Auburn series. He's only got. I mean, he's 6-1 in eight SEC series. Also, he's the first Ole Miss pitcher to pick up 6 conference wins since Christian Trent and Chris Ellis both did it in 2014. .98 WHIP. 1.89 ERA, 52 innings, 72 strikeouts, 17 walks. Opponents hitting 184 against him at this point. No, he is the best starting pitcher in league play in the SEC.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's overly debatable, frankly.
I don't think it is.
He's also why I've never been more certain in my life.
But he won't win the vote.
Well, no, one of those two kids is going to win the vote.
Yeah.
I guess Cops could win it. A reliever has never won it. I went and looked yesterday.
He's got 9 wins and 7 saves or something. I mean, his numbers are.
He also has 6 SEC wins, though. He is tied Nikhazy now with a 6th win. And he's thrown only I forget the stat, but he's only thrown like 7 or 8 fewer innings in league play than either Hoagland or Nikhazy. I forget which one I compared it to.
Yeah, he's a different kind of closer. But Nikhazy he's the MVP of this team. Not even close.
I mean, somebody asked the other day about an All Bianco team. Probably got to make it. I mean, from a confidence in Ole Miss when he has the ball, it's as high as anything non-Pomeranz edition that I can come up with over the time. And it's why as they move forward, and it'll be a discussion in a couple weeks, especially if Ole Miss hosts, but even if they didn't for some weird way, but they are. I mean, the resume's solid now. He has to throw that second game. You just cannot throw him against the 4 unless there is some weird ace situation from a 4 seed. Because you get through that, however you get through that, and Ole Miss shows up at the park trying to get to 2-0 going, hey, Doug's got the ball. This winning the game today.
Because there's not going to be a lighter on the other side.
No. Especially in game 2.
Right.
I mean, and frankly, you even might force the 2 into holding their ace and losing to the 3 because they're scared of Doug the next day. I mean, that's where stuff gets weird there, where it kind of gets all over the place.
You think he'll do it?
My hunch is telling me no. And
history says no.
He's done it twice. They've lost both times. I don't remember the 13 game on why they lost. And one in 2004 they got beat 1-0, so that's hardly on the picture.
The argument that fans make, and it's because they saw Pomeranz do it once,
is he can't come back on Monday. But come on,
is that you pitch him on Friday and he comes back on Monday night if you need him, and even if he did, the odds are he's not sharp.
No.
And if he's not sharp, his stuff is flat and he gets hit.
Yeah, well, even in the 7th, he had gotten tired in the 7th and he got his way through it, but it was a struggle. I mean, they tomahawked that ball out of the park for the 1 run he gave up, and
they were getting dialed in on him.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, they were.
Mean, it's also the 3rd, 4th time some of these guys have seen him. There's stuff there, 3rd, I guess. But
sure.
I just think it's a no-brainer. I think you're handing the ball, even given the way it's going lately, I think you're having to give the ball to Derek Diamond on Friday and go, hey, go beat a 4 seed for us right here.
Yeah.
And, hey, offense, go score a run on the stupid 4 seed.
Go hit a 4 seed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go win this game 12-4, and let's move on with our day.
Because I still think their path, even in a regional at home, is you need it to be clean.
Well, they definitely need it to be
Ole Miss
clean.
doesn't want to get to a 4th game. A dirty game.
Now, in saying that offensively, they're going to score runs.
Unless they get tight. But, yeah.
In theory.
Yeah.
It's the other really takeaway from the weekend was, Vanderbilt jumps up 2-0, and there wasn't a feel in the stadium. There was nothing that Ole Miss wasn't going to score some runs. It felt like it was going to be a typical Sunday game throughout. And they're probably the best team in the league at big innings, meaning 5 or more runs.
Yeah.
And what's impressive about it, and I think you'll agree here, is so many times when a team hits that home run and it goes to 3-0 or 4-0, or 3 or 4 runs in the inning, and the base is clear, they kind of get fat and happy a little bit. You don't see that reset much. Ole Miss's ability to reset the lineup and go again in the same half inning is really impressive, and not something that I remember a lot. But I mean, you look at it, and they had the huge inning against Arkansas and the huge inning against LSU, and now this against Vanderbilt, where a home run felt like it had completely killed it, and you went, oh, great inning, and then it's double home run.
Right.
And you're like, holy hell, like it just keeps on going and keeps on going. Jacob Gonzalez yesterday reaching base 5 times. He had 3 hits. I don't know what defensive position it's going to be yet, but he's quickly convincing me he's going to be like a top 10 draft pick here in 2 years.
Looks like one.
I mean,
frankly, McCants kind of looks like one.
They've got to figure out where to put him defensively. That's actually going to be his long-term home.
Yeah.
And I don't know the answer there. I don't know if it's shortstop. I don't know if it's center field. He fixes so many issues with his development in center field because of his athleticism.
I think I'd try to leave him there.
You'd let him just work into that?
It's just based on what I've seen. I mean, I guess if he shows up in the fall and he's the best shortstop on your roster, then you play shortstop. But it'd be tempting to leave him out there. He solves a lot of problems.
It was our discussion in the press box over the weekend. Aaron Fitt was in town. We were talking to Aaron about it. I think there's a better than decent chance that this team gets its entire offensive lineup back. literally every damn one of them. I think they're all back next year if they choose to be. Where do you rank a team? This is just quickly before we're going to break. Where do you rank a team that is probably the best offense in the country and has no returning pitcher that you trust at all?
I don't know. I mean, in a bubble, it's hard to say.
Yeah, pitchers are going to get better. They develop. I mean, you look at year to year, and it's not even comparable most of the time.
Somewhere in the second 10. Somewhere between 11 and 20. I mean, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
But you're going to be counting on a bunch of young arms.
Our guys to go out and come back and be studs all of a sudden.
Yeah.
A Brandon Johnson or a Cody Adcock. I mean, and frankly, it's up to Diamond and McDaniel. Hey, it's year 3. Let's go develop and be weekend starters and get this done.
Derek's got the stuff to be a really good starter. He gets erratic. He makes mistakes.
He got flustered on Friday night by what he perceived as getting jammed a little at the plate, and then he tries to nibble because of that a little bit. And then he gets behind in the count, and then he comes back over the plate, and it gets hit, and it just he gets in his head. It's a mental thing as much as anything else.
No, I think he nibbles way too much. Trust your stuff.
Go throw it.
Go use it, yeah. But, look, I don't watch every team.
Sure.
This team gets more worked up about strike zones than the other teams that I've watched. I didn't see Arkansas and Tennessee over the weekend get worked up about strike zones. This team gets bitchy about the strike zone. And a lot of times, and I'm not defending the umpires here, a lot of times the pitches that they're bitching about aren't strikes.
They gripe about the 6 inches off that the umpire calls once every third time. Is what we're complaining about.
And you're not going to get a lot of consistency from college umpires. That's why they're college umpires. They
have full-time jobs.
They're not major league umpires who have a refined strike zone. I mean, like John Boy Media showed where an umpire went through a game the other night, did not miss a ball strike pitch. Yeah, got them all right.
That's impressive.
You're not going to get that in college. He's going to miss, and so you got to get past.
And there's a reason you don't put the K zone up because there's no reason to embarrass the dudes that are insurance salesmen in their 8 to 5.
They're going to miss calls.
Yeah,
and they're human too. And so they're hearing all this stuff, and in his mind, he's like, "Well, you're going to bitch about one that I know I got that one right. All right, well, you're not getting it. I'm going to close you in even more."
Yeah,
and he shouldn't be that way, but
here we go.
It's kind of where you need to send the catcher out and say, "Tell him to shut up. It was a ball," and then. And
it's probably my lone criticism as a receiver of Dunhurst is his body language sometimes is annoyed, and it probably.
And if you're an umpire, if you've ever umpired, you know that when a catcher starts showing you up,
he holds it a little longer.
You get a little. You get a little.
Like even in the first inning, Dunhurst was like throwing down. He kind of had to hold it at the last second and just flip it back to the pitcher because it was ball and it was.
And they're gonna miss like the call that. They missed on Vandy where the ball's like 2 inches off the ground, and he calls it a strike, and they're going to miss calls. That's part of the college game.
Yeah.
And as a pitcher, it's something you have to deal with.
Yeah. More on the weekend in a second. First, tell you about Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. Underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. They're getting local underwriting that understands your market, a leader in condo financing, the float down option, and more. You can find Jason at 662-234-2704. or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
We're also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles, great lease deals as well. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. Brought to you by Joey Erickson at Heron Gear Chevrolet. Let him help you find the vehicle you're looking for at a price you can afford. Choose from a full selection of new Chevrolet vehicles or get a great deal on numerous brands of reliable pre-owned vehicles. Give Joey a call or text on his cell, 662-571-2367. Tell him what you're looking for. Stop by 1685 High Street in Jackson. Test drive that new or used vehicle you've been wanting. Let him earn your business, and be sure that you tell him that you heard about him on the Oxford Exxon Podcast or the Soft Verbal Podcast, and you get a $50 gas card. Also brought to you by The Rogue. The Rogue is your destination for fine men's clothing. Their stylist hand-select pieces from top designers, from work to lifestyle to nightlife. There's the perfect something for everyone at The Rogue. The Rogue has all the best items from Peter Millar, Martin Dingman, Jack Victor, Halsey, True Grit, Duckhead, and more. 4450 I-55 North in Jackson or therogue.com. And we are brought to you by Alpha Specialties. Alpha Specialties located at 1670 Highway 80 in Pearl, Mississippi. It's your trailer-specific professional. If you want to haul it, they can call it. It's the premium trailer dealership in Mississippi. They've got Load Trail. It's the premium brand trailer, the highest quality utility, equipment, dump, and gooseneck trailer being built today. They also have Hallmark cargo trailers, one of the most quality cargo trailers on the market, perfect for hauling goods to markets and shows, ATVs to deer camps, hauling race cars, and more. They can even work with third parties to have game day trailers and concession trailers built just for you. 601-932-9798 or alphaofms.com. And we're brought to you by Bain, Moss & Bowen. Located in historic downtown Corinth, their firm practices a wider range of law, from DUI defense to car wrecks to representing government entities. Bain, Moss & Bowen is the only firm in Mississippi made up of a sitting state legislator, a former assistant district attorney, and a former circuit court judge. Their experience is unmatched in that regard, and you can tap into it by visiting them at 618 East Waldron Street in Corinth, or by calling them at 662-287-1620.
Podcast also brought to you by Visit Oxford. Visit oxfordms.com. Go to the events page, see what else is going on locally. The Oxford Community Market is today 3 to 6:30, and that's every not today, tomorrow. That's every Tuesday moving forward for a while. Now that we are in the summer to the 25th as well. Got a couple tastings in town this weekend, as well as the World Championship Old Time Piano Playing Contest and Festival. It's virtual May 28th and 29th. Summer Sunset Series in the Grove starts June 6th, and much more. So that information to you as the week goes on. Visit oxfordms.com/events. Yeah, speaking of Dunhurst, he was a part of the couple things there in a row yesterday. I don't typically feel like it's an Ole Miss Vandy series until we get some chippiness. It took until Sunday to get that, as the game had started spiraling a little bit for the Commodores. Dunhurst definitely admired his home run for a minute or eight, to the point that the umpire ends up pushing him in the back to get him started on his movement at that point.
Yeah, I mean, like when I saw the replay of that, I was surprised there wasn't a brawl while he was running the bases.
You thought something was going to get said right there.
I mean, you know me, I'm a little more old school than maybe. Yeah. I mean, I get it that baseball needs the. Had I been the catcher, there would have been a fight.
Before he got out of the box.
Yeah.
When he's just hanging out.
Yeah, I would have run with him the whole time. We would have had a fight. That would have been my final play of the series. I don't know Hayden. I'm sure he's a great kid. And I'm sure there was something that led to that. I'm sure there were words, but you can't do that.
Vandy, and I think this is right before this, Vandy had kind of pimped the grand slam. Hayden's the catcher. He's seeing it. It comes back. It was as soon as that, really Sunday kind of had a fuse going the whole game. There were a couple little things early where everybody's just a little chippy, a little whatever, and then it kind of took off from there.
It's late in the year. It's competitive. People know what they're doing.
Yeah.
You get it.
They certainly buzzed the tower on Van Cleve, the next batter. There's no doubt of the intentions of that one. And
if you're Van Cleve, you know you're not digging in right there. I mean, you're prepared to get the hell out of the way, right?
It came at him. It was
way too high.
The umpire would have been justified in running the pitcher.
Should have run him.
Yeah. Hey, you're out.
There's the etiquette there.
Because not running him almost led to a brawl, too. Because Ole Miss is coming out, Vandy's coming out, and I think the pitching coach ends up getting thrown out for Vanderbilt at some point. But
the etiquette there, and it would have stopped it, is you drill him in the backside.
Yeah. One pitch, okay. We're all moving on.
You can't do that. You know it.
But when that ball goes up toward his head, you run him.
Yeah, now the game's out of control.
Yeah.
They got lucky.
Because now who says Ole Miss ain't throwing it at somebody else?
Well, they got lucky that the game didn't get out of control.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you worry if you're Vanderbilt at that point. Ole Miss brings in one dude for one batter that you're not going to pitch the next week and go, hey, go throw one at his head. You know what I mean? I mean, who says?
That's where you'd like to think that the adults in the room could calm things down. And it appears that they did, which is good.
Yeah. Both sides kind of. Mike yelled at Chatney pretty good to get back in the dugout there at one point after that. He was kind of he kind of started the.
You don't need suspensions going into the last series where you need one win.
4 games.
Right, so I'm saying you don't need
A
that.
pitcher is 4 games, I believe.
You don't need that. So
hey, get back. We keep it.
do this another day.
Yeah, we need a win is what we need here, guys.
Yeah.
Not.
No, I mean,
but go crazy.
No, I blame the umpire there. He had to know when you had the 2 pimp jobs that, okay, I'm going to have to get control of this. And there's baseball etiquette, as crazy as it is. The unwritten rules say, all right, you guys know we have to do something because of what Dunhurst did. And we didn't fight him going around the bases. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit the next guy in the butt with the fastball. And he's going to act a little pissed off going to first base, and that's the end of it.
Then we're going to.
As long as you guys don't throw at us, that's the end of it. All good. And I know that's stupid. As I'm talking it, I'm like, this is so idiotic, but those are the rules. And
yeah. I mean, and George had a good point. Like, I'm really surprised that at A&M you didn't get some corrections because it had gotten pretty ugly with Frizzell and the Ole Miss dugout and back and forth. I expected some throws there.
Had that been a 4-game series, the 4th game was going to be completely out of hand.
I mean, Ole Miss would have been fully justified to hit him in the butt at some point during that weekend.
Oh, absolutely. No question about it.
Yeah.
It's my only thing, and I get it that people love this part of baseball, okay? They love the Fernando Tatis, it's a towering home run, and stands and looks at it for half an hour. People aren't robots. When you do that stuff, you're kind of endangering your teammates. I'm not saying you can't have some fun with it, but when you do the thing where you're showing up the other team, like the Tennessee-Arkansas game on Saturday where the kid grabs his crotch. I mean, where do you think that's going? I mean, what do you expect from that? That's why I think the professionals are able to handle it a little bit better. I think in large part because they know that their livelihoods are attached to it.
Sure.
And the umpires are better. And so the umpires can go to the 2 dugouts and go, hey, look, the fine structure on this thing is going to be out of control if you don't stop.
Yeah.
I don't know how you manage it. It's really remarkable that one yesterday didn't get a little.
Well, because there was a split second where I went, "Oh, this is not good. They're headed out." And I mean, obviously, I watch Ole Miss 65 times a year. I watch a good bit of Vanderbilt because I just kind of like the way they play most of the time.
Sure.
I don't know what it is about those 2 teams that always get into something because Ole Miss does not get overly chippy and fight everybody they play at all. And Vanderbilt annoys people with things they do, but it typically doesn't escalate either. But Ole Miss and Vanderbilt don't play every year. They're not in the same division. They never run into each other really past that other than a random game in Hoover. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to almost fight every damn time they play.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea why. I don't know whatever. It's why I laugh when I hear all those guys go, yeah, I mean, I tell you, Ole Miss and State, it's like, no, that's like not even top 5. Like,
No.
They're fine. Like, whatever. It's Ole Miss and Arkansas and Ole Miss and Vanderbilt.
Well, Ole Miss and State played a really competitive series against each other, and I don't remember it getting weird at all. Just they played baseball. There was all the bitching about what Mike did or didn't do, but I don't remember the 2 teams kind of going at each other at all.
Yes, and Luke makes this a point. Some opponents, when the game's in Oxford, get really frustrated by the Ole Miss student section, and that starts things that then start carrying over from there. That does play a role in this as it happens.
But it's only the right fielder that's really hearing it, and the center fielder a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably laughing, going, "Hey."
I mean, come on, right? You know when you go out there that they've probably done some homework on you.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, what are they doing? They're talking about your girlfriend. They're talking about your sister. I mean, you have to know that's coming.
Corbin was pretty calm all weekend. I mean, Scott Brown's the one that got tossed.
Well, they're fine. They're gonna.
Oh, they're fine.
They're gonna host a regional. They're gonna be in position.
I mean, when was it Corbin was snappy? Was it last Sunday when he was all pissy or Tuesday? He made some scholarship comment, whatever day that was.
I don't remember.
They asked him, it was the day with Leiter. He was talking, and he goes, well, I mean, we get 50 scholarships, so we'll just go find somebody else or something. Or he made some remark, and it's like, well,
I always think people that get snippy about that and direct it at Vanderbilt are directing it at the wrong people.
I guess my point is if you're Corbin, though, just shut up.
Yeah,
You
sure.
get it and move on with your day.
Yeah.
Like, You can't get pissed off that people point it out.
Yeah,
like, you've got to move on with your afternoon a little bit. Because ESPN's not touching it.
Nope.
Like, because that shows something they don't want to show. They have to show Vanderbilt as this little bitty private SEC school that finds a way to make it work. Damnedest thing.
Can't figure it out in football, but by God, they can in baseball. Look at this. The little engine that could.
Yeah, so I don't know. Those are the takeaways. Yeah, look, your freshmen really grew up. McCants, Gonzalez, Mike putting them 1 and 3 in the order yesterday, and they both absolutely played huge roles in that. Really kind of set the tone for the offense in the first part. I wrote this morning. I asked him about Chattanooga's been on a pretty rough stretch here for a while. Mike said that he thought he was still comfortable in the box. He didn't see things where he was pressing or doing things with his fundamentals or his approach that were screwing him up, so he's leaving him there. They moved Dunhurst down to the 6. He hits the home run. He gets 3 hits yesterday. A pretty good tinker in there. And,
the one that's down in the lineup and I get it because you just don't mess with it when it's working, but it'd be hard for me not to put McCants in that.
Well, they let him off yesterday.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah, they moved McCants to the 1,
Gotcha.
Gonzalez to the 3 yesterday.
Yeah, it would have been hard for me to not do that before.
Yeah, so they were McCants, Chattanooga, Gonzalez, Graham, bench, Dunhurst yesterday, which is a pretty good 1 through 6. That's a good lineup. Because like the old schools guy, I mean, McCants strikes out. No, put him 1. He'll hit. Just let it go. It's gonna be all right. I don't care if he strikes out occasionally.
It's one of those deals. I knew we were leaving the house at 3:20, and I was trying to get as much of 10 thoughts done as I could before 3:20. And so while it was on, it was like muted because I was hustling.
Jonathan says, Chase, what would you do at the number 2 spot? If you're talking about in the lineup, I would put Justin Bench there. I'd go McCants, Bench, Gonzalez, Graham, Dunhurst in the 5, and then fill it in from there, however you want to fill it. Bench has 20 hit by pitches, 17 walks, and 19 strikeouts this season.
He does not flinch in the zone.
Oh, I mean,
Inside
he's not
pitch.
moving.
He's Anthony Rizzo. There's if you throw in and you miss, you're going to hit him.
Yeah, and he's going to go down to first base, take his base, and move on with his day.
I'd want him right now having more at-bats than Chattanooga.
Yeah, 2 makes a lot of sense for me with him. I mean, Justin's having a really, really good year that he's not – he's frankly not getting credit for. I mean, I have it right here in front of me. I mean, Bench is hitting .328 on the season. He's a .446 slug and a .433 on-base percentage. And you just got to give him a lot of at-bats. I mean, yeah, he grabs into a few double plays, but his speed's pretty good. That's more bad luck than anything else in this type of sample size. I don't think that's overly relevant for anything. I mean, I'm pretty sure Ole Miss still leads the league in OPS. They're hitting. I mean, the way some other guys have matured, this lineup with a fully healthy Elko would have been incredibly dangerous now in the middle of it.
Sure.
But they found a way to manage it. Even so, credit for them for that. This thing's all about the postseason now as we kind of transition, and I think the hosting situation is pretty good. The RPI was 11 or 12 this morning when I looked, something like that.
Probably need to just win 1 game in Athens to make sure that you're in good shape. Anything over that's gravy.
Yeah, you would.
You wouldn't want to leave it at 16-14.
Oh, well, God, no. That poses a problem.
17 and 13 and you're hosting. 18 and 12, you're definitely hosting. And if you got to 19 and 11.
You're at least having a national seed conversation about Hoover.
Yeah, depending on what some other people did.
Yeah, like.
I wrote this in 10 thoughts. It just depends on just how creative, and creative's the word they would use. Cute's the word I would use. How cute they want to be with the national seeds. I mean, because Arkansas is getting 1. Vanderbilt's getting 1.
And I don't know that it's necessarily based
on
the league. See, I think Tennessee is more susceptible at the moment than, well, not more. I think they're in the Mississippi State category, that they're both potentially susceptible.
Yeah.
And I'll explain why for the next break.
But they'd have to fall off the map.
Yeah, well, I think they play Carolina. They'd have to have a really rough weekend in Columbia.
Probably have to lose them all.
I think that's what they're doing. Because also you have to realize that wherever Ole Miss is or anybody else is other than Arkansas and Texas in the RPI, they're actually 1 spot higher than that because Fairfield is still sitting there at number 3. As we mentioned a few weeks ago, Fairfield's number 3 because they played no non-conference games and their entire conference didn't play non-conference games. So the computers don't have any way to compare the teams Fairfield played to the teams that Arkansas played because there literally is no statistical combination to get there. So what all this is saying is with Fairfield being number 3, Arkansas and Texas are the only 2 teams that are better than their opponents by a wider margin than Fairfield is better than their opponents, if that makes sense. That's why Fairfield is sitting number 3 in the RPI. they're clearly not one of the top 20 host sites, so just throw them out and move on and let them do whatever it is they're doing. They are 33-1, however.
Sure. Awesome. They're a great team.
Does the league get cute and give them a 3 somewhere?
I mean, it's probably what they deserve.
But why?
I don't know. I mean, I won't be shocked if they give them a 2.
Oh, come on. I mean, manna from heaven from every roast out there. It goes, hey, yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We'll be kind to whatever their mascot is. I don't know. I have no idea what Fairfield's mascot is.
I don't know enough about how all that works.
It's like a deer or something like that. Is that what it is?
I don't know. I'm not up on my Fairfield University trivia.
You didn't even know they were in the MAAC.
I didn't know where they were.
Lucas the Stag is their mascot.
Ah, like a Mustang.
The private Catholic university in Fairfield, Connecticut.
Okay. Yeah. Good for them.
Good for them. I'm good with it. Just, Now that's the little engine that could. It's 33-1 this year in the MAAC. Whatever.
They're playing conference only, and they've played 34 games.
Mm-hmm.
Well, get chippy after a while doing that.
Yeah, at some point, I'm getting pissed off by seeing this team over and over.
We're seeing the same team over and over.
Well, yeah, because, you play A&M and you have that type of chippiness, and in like 3 weeks, hey, they're back in Oxford. Like, well, some of the memory there is going to carry over a little bit.
If Ole Miss and A&M played another series, I'd watch.
Chippy and Hoover? Or is everybody calm enough in Hoover to not let it be a big deal?
I mean,
you can't risk a suspension in Hoover.
No. So, no.
You got to tell your guys beforehand, I don't care what they do. Nope. Like,
no, you're not doing that. As of right now, A&M wouldn't even be in Hoover.
Are they one of the outs right now?
Yeah, they and Missouri would be the outs.
Because Auburn has a tiebreaker too on the Aggies now.
Yeah, Auburn would be the 12.
But Butch is gonna be really excited to go to
Yeah.
Hoover and spend those days there on that Tuesday.
Thrilled.
He might just throw a white flag out at Ole Miss in the first game. Just go, hey, let's not overcomplicate this.
Probably.
The Rebels have a little decision to make. We'll get there in a minute. First, I will tell you about Tyson Drugs and G&M Pharmacy. They deliver locally in the Oxford area. 662-236-2222 is the phone number. They also offer MedSync to fill your prescriptions the same day each month and take care of you with an easy-to-use system where you have what you need when you need it. And with Right Way Meds, they individually package your medication for those who need that service. That can save a life in the right situation as well. So, again, find out what they can do for you, Holly Springs or Oxford, 662-236-2222.
I'll have a mailbag on Wednesday. It's brought to you by Whitney McNutt of Tommy Morgan Incorporated Realtors, serving you for all your real estate needs in Oxford and Tupelo. She sells condos, land, commercial, and residential family homes. 662-567-2573 or 662-842-3844. We're also brought to you by Oxford University Bank. OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB gives you the comfort of home, all the benefits the big mega banks provide, all the technology and products you can want, all with the personal touch. When you call OUB, it's a live person, no 10 buttons to push, no 5 minutes to wait. To learn more, call 662-234-6668 or go to liveoxfordbankoxford.com. Also brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. John's part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners that allows John to supply his clients with added values and unique benefits simply not available to other travelers. He traveled the globe for 37 years before getting into the travel business, and he knows the extra attention that's needed to make a special trip one that creates a lifetime of unique memories. So get in touch with him, give him some parameters, give him a budget. He'll give you options that you're not going to find on your own. And no, you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387 or jedwards@regencytravel.net. Tell John that you heard about Regency Travel and his service on the podcast. You'll get $50 off your first booked trip. And we're brought to you by Pinnacle. Pinnacle, based in Madison, Mississippi. They provide detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement for individuals and businesses, and so much more. At Pinnacle, investing is treated like a commodity, and decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. So regardless of your level of wealth, the people at Pinnacle will sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan built just for you. It's pintrust.com.
So looking at what's going on from a host and a national seed standpoint, yeah, I see no way that that Ole Miss does not host as long as they don't do anything stupid in Athens. If you're just talking about a host standpoint, Hoover would then be pretty meaningless as long as they win a series or do whatever they're going to do in Georgia this weekend.
I think just win one game. I think they could win one game and go 1 and out in Hoover, and they're still
Tuesday,
hosting.
And it's fine.
Absolutely.
Yeah. From a national seed standpoint, I went back and looked this up, and I saw Colin mention it too. Of the 31 national seeds, 30 in the SEC over the course of this format have gotten it as long as they have, or I guess put it this way, 30 of 31 times a team that has at least 18 conference wins in the regular season and a total of 20 wins counting Hoover has been a national seed. 30 of 31 times. Now, that's not in a vacuum, and if I'm Ole Miss, I understand that mark, and obviously that is a baseline that most of the time gets you there. I worry that we're in a really strange season with a lot of sweeps, and that's not going to cut it. I think it's 1+1 game on both sides for Ole Miss at this point. I think you're talking 19-21 instead of 18-20, and I say that because it's not about the SEC thing. Like I have no idea if the SEC would not get its full allotment because they're all in the same conference, or they would, or whatever. I don't know. But when I look at it right here, and what do I think? Who I think have clinched? So Arkansas is in for sure. Texas is in for sure. Vanderbilt's in for sure. And I'm talking about national seeds, top 8 seeds. TCU, I believe, is in for sure, and I believe Notre Dame is in for sure because I think they're going to get cute with the ACC and Notre Dame, even though Notre Dame's RPI is 13. And Notre Dame is 22-10 in the conference, 26-10 overall. It's not a great resume, but it's a huge ACC mark.
I would agree.
I think Notre Dame is a national seed.
Yep.
So that leaves 2 spots, if I'm right about all those things. Your competition for those 2 spots are Arizona, which I believe is going to get one as long as they don't fall off the map because they have a number 6 RPI and they're on the West Coast.
Yep.
So that would be 7 if you're right. So then for 1 spot, you're talking about Tennessee, Mississippi State, and Ole Miss. And Florida, frankly. And
yeah, because Florida's at 17 right now.
Yeah, but their RPI is 20.
Yeah.
That's their problem if they have a problem. And it's just
well,
hard
their
to
deal,
get
for
there.
them to get to the number you're talking about, they'll have to do it in Fayetteville, so their RPI would pop up.
Would be quite a thing. Yeah.
Because Arkansas's RPI, I presume, is 1.
It is, yes.
Yeah, so they'd have to go up there and win 2 out of 3.
Get them to 19.
Against a team that hasn't lost a series yet in the league.
And hardly ever loses at Baum. And
they're the damnedest thing. I've watched them 15 times, and they're good. And then you look up and they win. They just win. And at some point, that's...
Yeah, you watch them 20 times. I mean, if you watch 20 teams one time, you would never walk out of there going, Arkansas is the best team in the country.
Oh, no, never.
But then you look at the stat line and go, I'll be damned, they went 18-2.
I mean, the numbers are what the numbers are. They go win every series.
Christian Franklin is great, and Cops is great, and then they're just good.
Franklin's a stud.
He is.
Yeah.
And
the Moore kid is really good. Slavins is good. They're good. They're a good team. But they pitch it pretty well, and they close it. He's a phenomenal. And they've got enough kind of middle arms to get you there, but they never wow you. You never watch them and go, man, they're amazing. Like you go watch Vanderbilt on certain days, and you go, whew, they're a machine. You don't ever do that really with Arkansas. But like I said, I wrote this morning, I mean, the numbers don't lie. They've played 9 series. They've won them all in this league this year. That speaks volumes.
They're 15-3 against the D1 baseball, either top 10 or top 15. I forget the mark. And they've all been away from home.
Yeah.
They've played 18 games against whatever that elite group was. I forget where they had the cutoff
away from
at.
Fayetteville and won.
Yeah, and none of the 18 were in Fayetteville.
You talk about chippy now. They're Van Horn's chippy.
He and Vitello did not trade Christmas cards on after the game on Sunday afternoon.
Supposedly they talked later after what was seen on television, so maybe they kind of smoothed it over just enough. But on TV it looked rough.
Vitello was Van Horn's recruiting coordinator for a while at Arkansas. Did a good job. That's where he was prior to getting the Tennessee gig. Van Horn downplayed it and wouldn't say anything about it. Vitello said it was about an off-the-field matter and that he had already said too much was his response.
Oh.
So it tells me it was recruiting related, is my guess. Just my guess, but I don't know what else that would potentially. It sounds like he came to the ballpark for the weekend knowing he was going to talk about it after the last game, and he had a bone to pick with Dave. Vitello also got into it with O'Sullivan earlier this year. He's also doing – but no, I get it. You're doing the program that's gotten the hell beat out of it for 20 years. Yeah. We're going to get some edge back. We're going to have some confidence. I'm going to show you guys I'm standing up for you. Hey, come follow me. He's doing a little of that too.
I'm going to have 4 job offers in the next year.
Yeah, but – so he kind of – I guess my point being, if you're going to go at people too, hey, I'm going to go at Arkansas and Florida. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to go at Missouri. We're not worried about that. I'm going to defend you guys against the good teams. Tennessee's good. They're good. They're not great. You don't love them all the way around, but they're good. They're fine.
Yeah.
Curious to see how they handle the postseason, what they look like. I don't think they're dangerous per se in much of any way.
No, very solid though.
They are. They're really good. Their infield, offensively and defensively, is really good. It kind of sets them and
they've created a great atmosphere there. It's very loud. He's done a really good job. That was kind of a fun series to watch. They were tooth and nail with them. Of course, the weekend before Georgia was too. That's just kind of what they do. You look up and they took 2 out of 3.
They don't sweep a lot.
No, they're just not really dominant. They just win.
I miscounted a minute ago. Actually, 2 of those 3 schools could be national seeds, not just one. Because I forgot Fairfield was in my list of RPIs as I was going down there.
So you think 2 out of Ole Miss, Tennessee, Florida, and State will be national seeds?
I think that's very likely. Yeah. I have a hard time believing 3 because I don't know where the other one comes from as far as replacing someone. And then only one of them getting it would not make sense either. The problem for Ole Miss is that no matter what they do, if the other teams take care of business, there's nowhere to go. Like if State just goes and beats Hoover they played the last weekend and then wins 2 in Hoover, well, Ole Miss can't do anything about that.
The State's got Alabama.
Florida goes and sweeps Arkansas and then wins 1 in Hoover. Well, Ole Miss can't do anything about that.
Sure.
I mean, Tennessee just doesn't do anything stupid in Columbia. Ole Miss can't do anything about that. That's the problem, is that we're not in a vacuum. So it's not like, you get to the top of the mountain if you hit 18 wins or 19 wins. You look back and go, God, that year was weird. Okay, well, yeah.
Yeah.
That happens.
Decent chance you look back on that Sunday in College Station and go, that was a killer.
I mean, Ole Miss went 20-10 in 2009 in the regular season and was not a national seed.
Yeah.
It's happened. It happens. I think State didn't host one year at 17-13. So you just never know. I mean, it's all about who you're competing against. But after the win against Vanderbilt, I see no way in the world that as long as Ole Miss wins 1 game in Athens, they're not a host. I can't even make that make sense looking at everybody else's RPI sheets and things like that as well. State, if you told me somebody's susceptible, and the reason I think it's State is they would have to have a bad weekend the last weekend, and I think they
go to Alabama.
That's right. They play Alabama. By the way, you're rooting for the Tide in a couple different ways. A, if you are having a national seed conversation and you take care of Georgia at least twice, Alabama would be helping you beating Mississippi State, and they also are currently ranked 25th in the RPI. Well, that's a huge deal because 25th and 26th is actually a big problem for Ole Miss because 25th for Alabama gives them 3 more road wins against the top 25 from an RPI standpoint. So that's something to kind of follow as this thing moves forward. That's a big deal. But I've got it here. Mississippi State. Sheet. Okay, here. Yeah, see, like State, they've got kind of a weird deal going on. Like I've been figuring it up, and they're only like 500 against the top 25. They don't have a great record against really, really good teams. If they faltered and you started looking for reasons why they're not one, you could kind of find them because their conference record's really good. They've got a nice series win against Ole Miss. They've beaten other teams, but they've got some weird metric issues if it actually goes that far down the line. Now, who knows? I don't pretend to even believe I have any idea what selection committees are looking at, especially this year. I mean, I don't know. I mean, who knows? They could surprise us all and it'd be nothing compared to what we. But I will say they only got cute one time in the 20 host sites, and even that one is justifiable. So they did nothing overly crazy at all as far as naming the 20 host sites. They had Gonzaga on the list. Gonzaga has a top 20 RPI, and it gives you another West Coast host, so I understand it. even though you would be more than happy to get sent to Gonzaga.
Have you asked whether Ole Miss has begun the process of certifying its stadium from a COVID standpoint? Are they getting the stadium ready? Did the stadium – I want to know this. Did the stadium feel certified over the weekend from a COVID standpoint?
Yeah, you're right. They went to Omaha in 2001 and 2005. I guess 15 years, not 20. I was being a little hyperbolic, but they've sucked since then. Rod Delmonico did a great job. They shouldn't have fired him, and they haven't been able to return to glory since that point. No reason at all.
COVID certified?
Yeah.
Were people actively certifying the stadium over the weekend?
I think they're going to get one of those, basically get a big truck that sprays Lysol all over everything.
Uh-huh.
They're gonna do that. They're gonna throw that all over the stadium probably.
Okay. Is the truck there yet?
Maybe it's like Serve Pro. Maybe you got to put the tents up.
Okay.
Cover them. I don't know.
So to your knowledge,
it has not begun.
The certification process has not started.
Well, they might have to wait till after Tuesday when the season ends.
Well, that's true.
They have a game tomorrow.
I'd like some details on what all's happening to make sure that the stadium is safe. I was inside the Ford Center yesterday. They were still doing a lot of
protocols.
A lot of protocols. Mask and every other row and
every other row.
Every other row.
Were they doing that?
Oh yeah. Because I don't know, it can't go up and down. It's just sideways. So, I'd like to find out more about that as this process goes along. What all's entailed in the process.
New York City Marathon's coming back November 7th for it.
Really?
Back this year. 33,000 runners.
Whew. It's going to be a long way to run in a mask.
They're not going to make them wear masks.
Oh, you don't think? Okay, good. Look at Chase breaking news.
They're not going to make them wear masks.
You could put a big inflatable bubble over Swayze and keep the Lysol foggers going.
In the sky, like mosquito spray almost.
Yeah. Between games, you could just set off a big Lysol bomb.
Bomb it between games.
Yeah.
Take a really big tent.
Well, it would be a big tent. But that's why you get 3 weeks.
Get the tent made.
Well, they don't. If they said 3 days, you couldn't make a tent.
Like on the bid sheet, hey, certification size for your tent.
Yeah.
How big you need?
Yeah.
I need 600 feet by.
Be a pain in the ass when the wind blew really hard, but yeah.
Picks it up.
Yeah, it gotta be tough. Probably a health.
Like in high school, when you're putting the tarp out on the field, and the players have to do it, and the wind gets under it, and they're picking everybody up,
and then it's over.
You're done.
Yeah.
Let go because it will take you with it.
Let's just not play today.
Yeah, it was the most dreaded call in the world. Is you get the text at like 5:30 in the morning. It's like, hey, be at school at 7 to put the tarp on the field. It's shower, it's getting dirty and the sandbags.
You know you're gonna feel like crap the whole day.
Yeah, don't need to play that badly. Be all right. We'll get around it. So. Podcast brought to you in part by Northeast Spark, NESPARC.com. Service people across rural communities. 2 packages, the Ignite, the 100 Mbps, or the Blaze, the 1 gig that powers the Clark Ford Studio. Your hometown team bringing you world-class broadband. 662-238-3159. Phone service available. Parental controls, network security, and more. Spark is now pretty much all over town, so if you have not signed up yet, it is available to you. So take advantage of the best internet around Oxford, Lafayette County. 662-238-3159.
We're also brought to you by the College Corner. 2 locations in the Jackson area, one in Ridgeland, just next to Fleet Feet, one in Flowood, next to Half Shell. If you don't live in Jackson, it's okay. Go to the collegecornerstore.com, just collegecornerstore.com. You can also find them on Facebook and Instagram. So whether you're tailgating in Oxford or home gating with friends and family, the College Corner has you covered for game day, the largest selection of Rebel gear in Central Mississippi. We're also brought to you by Comer Heating and Air. Comer's the name you can trust. They have more than 50 years of professional HVAC experience in Oxford, Tupelo, and the surrounding area. You can get in touch with them to make sure your air conditioner's in tip-top shape, 662-801-1777. Also brought to you by Lammon's Fine Jewelry. Lammon's at 1126 North Lamar Boulevard in Oxford. They've been serving the Oxford area for 73 years. From engagement rings to wedding rings to fine jewelry, Lammon's is the gold standard in fine jewelry. So visit them at lammonsfinejewelry.com or call them at 662-234-2777. Enjoying Coach Lane Kiffin and the Ole Miss Rebels in the vault this season. Season ticket packages start at just $199, and they can be purchased by visiting OleMissTix.com. That's OleMissTix.com. You probably didn't get a chance to see the horse race Saturday.
I did not see any of the horse race. I saw Medina Spirit got passed at some point.
It was very obvious before the race that he had been distracted all week.
He had a rough week.
He had a rough week.
Wasn't fair to him.
He read a lot of copy about him.
Had to take extra drug test.
Yeah, they tested him, a lot of accusations. And he got off to a great start. He just ran out of gas. Hadn't slept well, had not eaten well. They drained a lot of blood from him, testing him. It's kind of sad. He looked sad when it was over.
Can he rebound at the Belmont?
I don't know. I think
that's a tough track for him too. He's not typically a longer run horse.
Yeah, and I don't know. I had a look on his face of, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore for a while.
I won the one that really mattered.
Yeah, and you're going to take that away from me. He looked like a guy. Because
you're going to get one. I know which one I want.
He looked like a guy that was heading. He'd found out that the jury was in, and he knew the verdict was bad.
His heart really wasn't even into it.
No, just ran. It was almost like he was running. You ever had to run, like you have a day you're running and you start thinking, why am I doing this? Who's this for?
Every day.
Yeah, and you're halfway and you're like, I don't want to do this right now. You kind of pull up, lose your focus. He had that kind of day. It was bad.
Like Baffert had a pretty rough day all the way around at Pimlico. Had 4 horses there. Didn't win any of them.
Yeah.
Had the rough one in the Preakness.
Tough.
I mean, when you can't give them the right ointment, look. What do you expect me to do?
And how do we know that there wasn't something, kind of, I don't know, shaky? I ended up binging Defending Jacob on Apple TV.
Okay.
Have you seen that?
No. Obviously good if you're talking about it.
Well, it was 8 episodes. I watched the whole thing. I actually went back today and watched part of the last episode again to see if I missed something.
Oh, it had a bad end?
It had a weird end. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but it was not the end that I think I was sort of expecting.
So what's the 30-second, what is it?
14-year-old boy accused of killing a classmate on his way to school with a knife. His dad's an assistant district attorney who starts off on the case, then gets, of course, taken off the case when his son's the one that's accused. And so it's about the parents defending him and doubts and stuff.
Okay.
It's
pretty well done.
It's well done. Just the end was weird, and so I had to go back today because I caught myself I was out running yesterday, and I was thinking about that show almost the whole time. Like, did I miss something? And I went back this morning, and I think I did kind of miss something because it now makes a little more sense.
Okay. Elijah Moore gets a mention on NFL or ESPN.com this morning. They're talking about what rookies could have surprise fantasy value in this first season.
Yeah.
The blurb on him. Some scouts thought Moore worked his way into the first round with an impressive pre-draft process. The Jets gladly scooped him up at number 34, and Moore will get a head start with Zach Wilson at rookie minicamp. The Jets don't have a true number 1 to hog targets, so in a merit-based Jets offense, they like Moore's chances. So.
Well, I told you, I think Elijah and Zach Wilson match up pretty well.
Yeah, Zach couldn't be upset about that pick in the second round as they were.
And if you're Elijah, you got to be pretty thrilled with who your quarterback's going to be. You got a chance to build some chemistry with a guy that's got a big-time arm.
And has no preconceived, hey, these are my targets. Now you're coming in together, and this is the deal. And
he probably will be partial to Elijah in some ways.
My guy,
and he's really good at improvising, can make off-platform throws. His arm's impressive.
How are your Cubs doing?
You know what? Today's going to be a weird day for the Cubs. They're 19-20. They play at home tonight against the Washington Nationals. Nationals throwing a veteran left-hander against the Cubs. You may have heard of him.
Who's throwing today?
John Lester.
Oh, that kind of
yeah.
He'll get a good ovation.
I would think. If I were there, they would eventually have to come to me and go, please, sir, sit. Stop. I might just cheer for 30 minutes for John Lester. I mean, it doesn't.
I'm more of a Lester guy today than the New York Cubs guy.
It doesn't happen without Lester. None of it happens. They don't win a World Series if John Lester doesn't take the plunge and sign with the Cubs in 2015. No doubt.
Looking at the standings a little bit, that NL East still completely and utterly sucks. It's all batched up together. Cardinals getting a touch of separation there in the Central. Only 2 up, but
2 up over Milwaukee and
Milwaukee.
3.5 over the Cubs.
3 over the Cubs.
3.
5.5 over Pirates. 2.5 over Reds. Best record in baseball right now, belonging to a tie between the. Never mind. Chicago White Sox, 24-15 is the best record in baseball right now.
Your boy Lance Lynn's off to a good start with them, too.
To a good start.
They have a really good pitching staff.
He's had a rejuvenated last couple of years. I mean, he was really good with the Rangers last year, even in a pandemic year.
Lucas Giolito, Carlos Rodon kind of rejuvenated his career a little bit this year. They just throw.
Is that a 162 game kind of team, though?
I mean, and they're playing without 2 of their best outfielders. Eloy Jimenez out basically for the season, and now Luis Robert out for a while too. But if you can pitch day in and day out, and they can day in and day out, you're going to be in games. Speaking of baseball, a lot of baseball players wear Blue Delta jeans. You can too. They make the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world because they are uniquely made for you and only you. Raw denim jeans, custom fit, hand-tailored in Tupelo, Mississippi. One size fits one at BlueDeltaJeans.com. They've been advertising with us for the past couple of years. We've always directed you to DM them to set up a time to get measured. So now whether you're coming to Oxford or not, you can visit BlueDeltaJeans.com to get measured by their new virtual tailor and design your very own jeans. And just for our podcast listeners, enter the discount code Rebel Grove. That's all one word, all lowercase, Rebel Grove at checkout. Get 10% off your order.
Yeah, we're right at. I think we just went over the 3-year mark with them.
Is that right?
I think that's right. Yeah. They are in Kiowa this week, measuring the top 25 U.S. contenders for the Ryder Cup team. Pants for the Ryder Cup coming up here in a few months. The PGA Championship is this week, which is why they're in Kiowa. So
when's the Ryder Cup?
First week of September, maybe. Last week of August, something like that.
In the States this year, or is it in Europe?
Yeah, I'm right on saying this. Yeah, because they postponed it last year from Whistling Straits. So it's
back at Whistling Straits. Okay.
Or am I wrong?
I don't know.
I'm really confusing myself now. That's something that I would know 100% had you not mentioned that. But, yes, September 12th, it's a little later than I thought. September 24th to 26th at Whistling Straits. That is correct, yes. Back in the U.S. after Team Europe won 17.5 to 10.5 at Le Golf National in France 3 years ago.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it was supposed to be this last year, and they put it off a year because of the pandemic. So, Ryder Cup, Whistling Straits, Steve Stricker, the captain for the U.S.
Let's kind of get into the Ryder Cup. I want us to win the Ryder Cup.
The U.S. likes team competitions, like America, like fans. Yeah. Like, you put a team behind it, and also it's match play. It's not that complicated. Like, everybody can kind of figure out what they're doing. Yeah. It's okay. Sure. It's a good TV.
Yeah, sure.
Match play is a great TV thing. There would be more people watching golf if most things were match play. I'm not saying most things should be match play, but more people would watch it.
We got teams.
We like teams.
We like teams.
Except World Team Tennis. People hate World Team Tennis.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Like the Aces and the Challengers or whatever they're called.
No, I don't want that. No.
Well, we like teams, especially when we get to play other countries. And I mean, is it really fair? They get a whole continent. Like, we're just one country.
Carson and I watched the worst NBA game in the history of NBA games last night.
Well, that's probably not true. But
it was awful. And it was maddening. It was the Thunder and the Clippers, both teams trying to lose. The Clippers tried harder at losing.
What was the final?
Thunder won by 5. So the Thunder torpedoed their draft lottery chances on the last night. Don't you in that moment when you look up and you got a couple of rookies that are trying real hard and are scoring a bunch of points, they got to come out, right? Just got to go, hey, you had a great year. Come sit.
Tease it for tomorrow. I read it. I agree with you because I understand what you're saying, but I hate the tanking.
I do too.
I hate it.
I do too.
They've got to change something to prevent it.
And they've tried a little bit. I think they're going to have to do something different because last night everyone in the West was trying to avoid the Lakers. And then you had teams that were like, hey.
Oh, so you had playoff teams tanking out of the 1-8.
The Clippers were trying to tank their way into the 4 seed and out of the 3 because they wanted to avoid the Lakers.
The Lakers are what?
The Lakers are going to be the 7 in all likelihood.
Okay.
The Lakers have to play their way into the 7.
Okay.
But they probably will.
Okay. Whatever.
The NBA has play-in this week, 7 through 10.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, I forgot that.
So the 7 and 8 play, and the winner is the 7 seed. And the 9 and the 10 play, and the winner gets to play whoever loses the 7-8 game, and that's the 8 seed.
Right.
And so it expands the playoffs
I don't hate
for
the
a week.
play-in, honestly.
I actually like the play-in.
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
I think maybe the play-in needs to be expanded to make teams want to play more. I don't know. But last night, the Clippers were trying to lose.
Too much
I know. The Clippers were trying to lose, and the Thunder needed to lose.
I hate the really, really bad team tanking more than I hate the playoff matchup tanking.
But if you're a team like Oklahoma City, like Memphis,
I'm not saying they're doing the wrong thing.
Right.
I just hate what they're doing.
I do too. And yet I look at it and go, but if you want to get the lottery pick that changes your franchise.
Then get rid of the lottery and just do it straight 1 through 30.
And maybe
because that way, once you're out of the 1, it doesn't freaking matter anymore.
And maybe that's the answer.
And basketball is always going to be a little different because one player can make such a difference. And you have small roster sizes and that kind of thing. Even more so than a football or anything else. But I mean, if there was a lottery system in football for 1 through 10, would you see more tanking at the end of the year?
Sure.
Yeah, you would.
Sure.
Football's a harder thing to tank.
I mean, the Jags just tanked.
They did, yeah.
They intentionally lost games.
Yeah.
There's another word
including
for that.
Blowing that coverage against Oakland or Chicago or somebody?
It's Oakland. It's called throwing the game.
Yeah, it is. Especially when Vegas starts responding to it.
Sure.
And going, okay, now the lines.
Sure.
Whatever. Money lines are way off the chart.
I mean, it's one of those things. I get it. I get why people don't like it. I don't like it. But if you're running the Thunder in the middle of the year and you look up and you're like, we're 5 under 500, this is no man's land. Let's not do this.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to rebuild your franchise picking 12th.
Yeah, I get it. No doubt. I get it.
Cade Cunningham won't be there at 12.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so you got to go up to the top of the draft.
So we'll talk about that a little more tomorrow probably and plenty more things. We're not minimizing. We're just saying that's the only way to actually get the top 5 pick. At some point, that's what it's about. So,
yeah.
It's a lot like Vanderbilt. You're just playing to the system. System is what it is. We're just going to play to the system.
That's why I never criticize them.
Yeah,
if you want to fix the Vanderbilt deal, you're going to have to fix scholarships because all they're doing is taking advantage of an opportunity that's made available to them.
Yeah,
they're not breaking a rule.
No, not at all. So back tomorrow afternoon. We'll talk to you then. Check rebelgrove.com. In the meantime, Neal's 10 Thoughts are up. More podcasts coming your way. And I hope you have a wonderful afternoon. So stay safe. Talk to you tomorrow.